For over a decade, Olga has served the beauty industry as a hair and makeup designer.
And somebody just gets a bar of soap and just washes, bam, and they have problems with their skin, and you're asking yourself, 25 and your skin's looking like, you're a lady of probably 48 or something.
She is extremely attentive when listening to the client's desires, as well as making recommendations to enhance their overall beauty.
So, or alternatively, I would have Mitala. Again, this is Mitala. This would be, again, you see, dermatologically tested. It's face, eyes, and lips. You're not going to react, so it's more like water.
Olga has a mystery vision for both formal and bridal looks.
Guys, I'd like to invite every makeup artist. Obviously, we want to network. We all want to meet each other. We're all going to be under one roof.
This week, we met with Olga, CEO Makeup by Olga and Miss Uganda 1992. Well, the beauty in her voice makes her a beautiful woman. This is her moment. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Well, there are very many people out there who have read articles about you and they really don't get the gist of your background. I think that's where we're going to start from.
Okay.
Who is Olga? Where does she come from?
Okay. So basically, my name's Olga NAMPIIMA. I was born in Uganda. My parents, my mom's Uganda, my dad is South African. Well, half South African, half Zimbabwe. How can I best describe myself? I'd like to think I am Ugandan because I've grown up, well, a part of my childhood life, I grew up here in Uganda before I moved over to the United Kingdom, where I had all my education and, my growing up.
Before we can take it to your education, we would love to know your start home before you get to London. Your start home, some of us come from Kawempe, from Nasana, and someone would love to know. Olga is maybe a certain area code, born, and they're like, okay, she comes from my area.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right. Well, I was born in Nakasero. I was born in Nakasero, and I lived there till age about 16 when I moved over to the United Kingdom. And yes, that's where I was born. Kind of like my parents, I think that's more on my mum's side. I think our village is in Masaja, which is on Entebbe Road. And obviously my dad is from Bulawayo, which is Zimbabwe. And though I've never been.
Yeah, when you talked about half Muganda, half South African, it kind of gets us a little bit want to get personal. We're sorry if you're getting personal, but can you give us a little story about your parents' meet? Because, it's unusual.
Okay. Well, how my parents get to meet? Well, how can I explain it? Obviously, my dad came over as a musician in Uganda, and he was a great musician. He was very, very famous by then, and met my mum, and he just didn't go back to, so that's how it came about, and so that's the whole story.
So you really see the intermarrying, how it came about. So what was your first school here in Uganda?
I went to Nakasero. Obviously living around Nakasero, I went to, I think it was Makinon Kindergarten, and then I went to Nakasero Primary School, and back in the days, and I think I did my, up to when about. Then I also went to, I think before I left, I was just getting into my, what do you call it, A-levels.
Oh, you went to high school?
Yeah, high school before I left to go for England. Yeah.
At what age did you go to England? 16. That was after your primary 7 or?
It was more like I think it was S1, I just started I think my senior one, before I moved over to the UK.
Well, how was your growing up in UK? The fact that you went when you were just joining A level, how was the situation there, and what schools or what were your dreams when you moved to England and you felt like, okay, now I'm in another level, so I need to concentrate on working on this, or maybe I've been in Uganda and I wanted to be this, so I can't do this.
Funny enough, it was very, very different, obviously, because of the culture shock. Being in a very, very hot country and then you end up in an extremely cold country, and being, obviously, because in the area that we were living, we're the only black, family there, and obviously we had some really, really hard times because there was a lot of racism then in the area that I was living with my family, my mum, and life was not easy. I'm not going to lie to you, because again, lucky enough, I had my sisters, my siblings, and we could just play with each other. We entertained each other, because it's different. Like in Uganda, kids can go and play with neighbors and interact with other families. We didn't have that opportunity because obviously we were living in an area that was so like very, oh my God, they're black, But we kind of like just went through it. We just accepted it, and we just got on with our lives really. But as time went by, we went to school again, the bullying in school. But you toughen up, and just get on and get up and get on with it, kind of thing. So life wasn't easy for us. But again, you just can't be moaning and complaining. Our mum kind of like instilled it into us. It's a cool, tough world out there, So you just have to get up, get on with it. If they call you names, so what? Have they hurt you? No. So just get on with it, So
were you were you in England with both your parents, or you were living with
I was living with
you living with your mom?
My mom had separated from my dad.
Oh.
So yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah. Now, actually, what did you do at school when you were back in London?
Okay, I started off, initially I wanted to do more like, my mom was trying to push me into social work and stuff like that. And, because obviously that's where the money was. And I was a teenager, I was confused. I didn't know exactly what I wanted. I was excited about everything, but deep down I had this thing about beauty, I had this background, like I was very artistic, I was always, dolling my friends up, in the rooms we're going out, would escape and we'd go for raves at night, and I was always the one that was dolling them up, they'd come to me at home, and I could see myself, that's the path I wanted to take. Though my mom didn't want me to, she wanted me to do, because obviously African parents expect you to be either a doctor or a nurse or some lawyer, some profession, or an architect or, Actually, I would say more architect or interior designer, because I was always like, into, watching, I was really, really obsessed about, in designing and decor and so I thought if I didn't do makeup, that's the path that I was going to do, or that's the path I was going to take. But it's somehow my calling was more makeup based, so I went off, I started doing beauty therapy, I started work experience, because once we do school or college, and then they kind of like take you off to do some work experience, what we call work experience. And my work experience ended up in a kind of like beauty therapist kind of like salon, where I was working with loads and loads of clients. We used to come in, have facials, skincare, you name it, nails, everything. So, and I started loving it, and that's where my passion started, obviously. And the fact that I had sorry, I got distracted for a minute. The fact that I had this passion as well about, dolling people up. I love people who are glamorous, who look beautiful, So I started. So one of my colleagues as well talked about, why don't we do this course? Is this course going? You know, and also as well, by then it was time for me to choose what I wanted to do. So I went off to Kingston College. So I did my it was more like a diploma.
So when you went for your internship, you're doing a different course, but in your internship, you landed into what you wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Because they ask you what do you want to do, and you look for jobs. Because you every, can I say like when you, it's like when you just finish your GCSEs, we call them GCSEs. Yeah. You go for work experience. You're expected, you know. So they will ask you. You just choose anywhere you want to go, but you need to do that work experience, you know. So my one was in a beauty salon in Wimbledon. So that's where I went and did my work experience, and I loved it, and they loved me as well because. Sorry, I got distracted again. Because again, I was very bubbly. I just loved it. They would call me. I was there. I was never late. You know, because I loved it. You know when you love doing something. Exactly. Yeah.
Extra.
Yeah, exactly. Unlike some of my other colleagues who were like, oh God, this job. They were always moaning about it. They didn't like it. They felt like, it's boring.
Really? Yeah.
Exactly. You know, and they felt like they were therapists because people coming in there and they're like, oh, my dog died yesterday, or my husband left me. And me, I'm a very good listener, you know, and you know.
So you did listen to those?
Yeah, because they come in, while you're massaging them away, you're doing a nice facial, they're telling you all these things about their lives.
What age was that?
17, going into 17 something, you know, and by then I'm thinking to myself, you know, I love listening to their stories. Some of them were hilarious, you know.
Yeah.
You know, some, you know, and I just loved it. So that's where it all started. So I went to Kingston College. I did beauty therapy. It was a diploma. I had to do it for 3 years, and then from there I had to kind of like go further, which is called a higher national, you know, diploma, you know. But that included more. I had to do more, like do a lot of SFX, you know, period makeup, theatre, you know, it involved a lot of, yeah. So I did that for 2 years. Then I had to go back to uni to do proper, you know.
Well, Holly, I think we're going to take a short little commercial break. We'll be right back as we start her journey in her career. Be right back.
In the past, women were considered housewives, housekeepers, and many other things denied any opportunity. Today we are great witnesses of the transition from the kitchen to the big offices and places of great responsibilities. Now Record TV has brought you a show, Her Moments, going to awaken, motivate, and inspire all women out there every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m.
Welcome back. You're still watching Her Moments, and I'm your host Asha Kulsum, and your guest of the day, OLGA NAMPIIMA. Now, as everyone loves the career, they'll always take a step, or they'll always go in depth to learn more about their careers so they can perfect and be perfectionists in what they are doing, and this is what she had to do. Welcome back, and we're still talking about you going for higher educations in makeup for the media, for film, this fashion, you know, cover and something like that.
Yeah, so obviously after doing my HND, which is called Higher National Diploma, I realized that I had to go to uni to take it further and do obviously SFX, TV and media, and also editorial work. So that's where also my journey as well started. So, but I was kind of like studying and also doing like what we call chair, you know?
Oh.
Yeah, like, you know.
Did that not give you hard time? Like, because I'm seeing a lot of this happening now in Uganda, because you find someone is at school and at the same time they have this chair and you feel they're going to get bad grades, they're not having that concentration. How did you manage to juggle around and beat it up? I mean, to balance?
Again, like I say to you, again, perseverance, hard work, it was a lot of hard work. Again, if you want something, if you're thirsty for it and you're hungry for it, you would do anything. Again, obviously at that age, I was young, you know, I wanted to wear the nice clothes, I wanted to have, you know, so I had to work, but I also had to study, you know. So in order for me to get all those nice things like a nice phone, I had to do a part-time job. And my part-time job is somehow ended up I was working in an old people's home. And obviously, again, I always say to young people, never ever feel like, you know, it's a horrible thing to, you know, again, at the end of the day, it's a job, you know. And, you know, I had to work super, super hard, you know, in order, and also to support, because when I got to uni, I had to pay, because either you get a student loan, which you have to pay off, you know. And again, it's not a lot of money, you know, because you need to kind of like compensate for the, you know, especially living in London.
Exactly.
It's very, very costly.
Very
yeah.
expensive.
Yeah. And, you know, living with my mom was very, very tough. You're not going to just come home, eat food. You have to contribute to the bills. You had to pay towards upkeep, you know, you had to do some shopping at home. Again, so whereas some people here, I mean, I see young girls here, 25, oh, I'm still at my mom's house. And you're like, okay, at 25 hours, my mom was checking me out of my house. Go and buy your own house now, you know. So again, by then I was finishing uni, so I had to get a job, another job, you know, obviously to help me sustain, you know, because I'd gotten myself onto the property ladder. You know, I'd bought my own house then. You know, I had to move out of my mom's house. So then I had to work even twice harder, because then I had responsibilities, because responsibilities started kicking in. You know, I had to pay bills, I had to pay, you know, council tax, all these bills, a lot of responsibilities. So that in itself helped me go up really, really quick. And again, I was one of these people that I knew exactly what I wanted. I was so aggressive. You know, again, even in the makeup industry, when I started going out there to look for work, you know, being black it wasn't on my side, you know, so I had to kind of like work 10 times harder than my white, you know, classmates, you know, because they would get the job so easily. Whereas with me being the only black girl, you know, people would look at me.
Only black in class.
In my class, I was the only black girl there. Was doing makeup. So again, that was also a challenge that I faced, because when it came to also pairing up, working with.
Was it not difficult for you when if you had a client who is white, and how you're going to apply that? Because I feel there is a difference between, I mean, face beating a black person and a white person. Okay,
again, I was lucky. I had the advantage. They had the disadvantage, because they felt like, oh, you know, again, like, okay, we would be in a class, 8 students, and one of our tutors will come in and we'll do a demo. And we'll do a demo and say, okay, this is, we're going to do maybe a Hollywood glam today. He will do a demo and he'll give us, okay, 40 minutes, each of you, right? So now doing a Hollywood, like maybe glam or maybe a 1930s look on a black skin, she wouldn't know what to do. Whereas with me, obviously I've already done my research. I know, you know, yeah, you know, I would go back and look at Dorothy Dandridge, the likes of Dorothy Dandridge, you know, back, I'll do my research before, you know, I'd see what makeup was worn in the 1930s with the black, you know, like actresses, or, you know, in Hollywood.
Well, apart from the class experiments and the coursework given to you, going to have makeup cover with these, when was that exact time that you started this on your own?
Well,
like professionally, and you're starting, and this is the first time I'm doing something of my own.
Okay. Well, I think that all started when I realized that I think I came on holiday here. You know, initially I was freelancing in London. I would go to shoots, I would go to call me on sets, work with photographers. It's not until when I came to Uganda and I saw this big gap, this big, massive gap, you know. And actually, it's so bizarre because I think it was an A. Bryan's event. It was a fashion event that was taking place, and one of the makeup artists, I think he was going to every girl to doing makeup, and the makeup that they were doing on these girls, and the money he was getting paid for. I'm looking at, I was just shaking my head. I'm like, okay, there could be something here, you know. So obviously I did my homework, and that's when I got inspired. I was like, okay, how about if I did a master? Because we do have loads of master classes in London, you know, where you kind of like just go and you know, like maybe, okay, for example, Kim Kardashian's makeup artist will come to London and do a masterclass, and we'll all go running, you know, because we want to know how he does the contouring, how he does Kim's makeup, you know. So I thought of something similar as well. So I got inspired, I did my homework. I'm like, okay, are they going to understand it? What's it going to be like? You know, so I started asking people. People were telling me, I'm going to speak a bit of Uganda, by the way. You know, what's masterclass? Makeup. You know, I'm like, yeah, well, you know, it's makeup. I just want to come and do masterclass. So people are telling me off, you know, it's not going to work here. People will not embrace it. You know, I'm like, well, it's worth a try, because I'm seeing girls after seeing that show. Sorry, the A. Bryan's, where this makeup artist was, you know. So I'm like, people are understanding makeup. Those who do understand it, you know. So obviously I did come. I started planning it. I came and I did the masterclass. You know, I obviously got the jitters because I thought it wasn't going to work. But obviously, I really persevered. I pushed so hard until it got there. I was on every radio station, on every TV station, and, you know, I was just putting it out there. I mean, some of them were asking some crazy questions regarding makeup. Is it true makeup gives you cancer? Is it true, you know, is it true makeup makes you look old? You get old quicker? I'm like, oh my Lord, I'm just rolling my eyes and thinking, okay, you know what? We'll get there. It's about educating people, you know, telling people it's not as bad as you think it is. So again, going back to your question, I did the masterclass and it was a success. And that's where the whole thing, the makeup boom. Well, to me, that's how I felt. Because I got a lot of people coming to me. I kind of like, that's where my whole journey started, you know. That's when I decided, okay, maybe I'm going to start off slowly by teaching and also selling, because I also saw that people were buying a lot of fake products that was affecting their skins, you know. And people were saying, we don't know where to get genuine products from. That's when I got inspired. I was like, okay, why don't I have some kind of outlet where I can be able to bring all these products to
like
these
you
people.
have a store.
Exactly. But I started online because I didn't feel like I was ready to own a store, not knowing how business runs in Uganda. That's when my online journey started. So I'll just buy a bunch of items, take pictures, and post on my social media platform. And
so how long have you been in the industry?
Well, here in Uganda,
in Uganda,
I'll say 3 years. Immediately after my masterclass, that's when things hit off. Then my journey, you know, started from there. I started online, I would sell, then I'd start getting feedback from people. I think we could do with this store because we don't trust you enough. How do we know you're selling us fake products? How do we know this is right, you know? And again, I don't know what's right for my skin. That's when I thought, okay, now this is time for me to what? Come home, set up a studio where people can come. You know, you can sit down with them, give them a bit of advice. You can have a consultation with you and talk to them about either skincare, either what tried foundations, because you're finding girls who are wearing shades of foundation. The body is like the face is 3 shades lighter than the body. You know, obviously because they don't know, they can't match, you know. They can't match their skin tones. They haven't, you know, kind of like learned how to master. Yeah.
Well, we're going to hold it there, but like in any business, 3 years down the road, she might have gotten those challenges that she has faced in the industry. We'll be right back.